The wind, a relentless, icy fist, howled across the vast, treeless steppes, tearing at the tattered flaps of the gur, the felt tent that served as young Temujin's only shelter in this brutal, unforgiving world, a world where the sky stretched endlessly above, a vast, indifferent blue that offered no comfort, only a stark, overwhelming reminder of his own smallness. His utter insignificance in the face of the Mongol Empire's terrifying might, and the cold seeped into his bones, a constant, gnawing ache that felt as familiar as his own heartbeat, a reminder of the endless, biting chill that was his constant companion, far more loyal than any living soul he had ever known, for loyalty in this life was a luxury few could afford, and a betrayal was often met with a swift, brutal end, a truth etched into the very dust of the land, into the very cries of the wind. And the air itself was thick with the smells of mutton fat, dry dung smoke from the central hearth, unwashed human bodies, and the sharp, metallic tang of fear, a smell that clung to everything, to his rough wool tunic, to his matted hair, to the very fabric of the gur, a pervasive scent that permeated his every breath, a grim perfume of survival in a world that valued strength above all else, where weakness was a death sentence, a truth that resonated with every creak of the Ger's wooden frame, every whisper of the wind through the felt, a constant, chilling reminder that his life, like the lives of countless others, was a mere flicker in the harsh, indifferent gaze of the Khan, a life that was far from the glamorous tales of golden palaces and silken robes that sometimes filtered down from the distant, conquered lands, but a brutal, daily struggle for existence, a fight against hunger, against cold, against the crushing, omnipresent threat of violence. A horrifying reality that was the terrifying truth of life in the Mongol Empire. Temujin, a boy of barely 12 summers, his face thin and gaunt from perpetual hunger, his hands calloused and rough from endless toil, his eyes, once bright with the quick curiosity of youth, now often dulled by the ceaseless labor and the ever-present threat of the lash, often found himself staring at the distant horizon, a blurry line where the endless steppe met the endless sky, wondering if he would ever see the gentle hills of his own village again, the small cluster of huts where he had once known a fleeting, fragile peace, before the thunder of Mongol hooves had descended like a storm, tearing his world apart, leaving him an orphan, a captive, a forgotten scrap in the vast, devouring maw of the empire, a silent testament to the empire's insatiable hunger for conquest, its relentless expansion across all known lands, swallowing up cultures, crushing civilizations, leaving behind only dust and subservience. He was a batu, a servant, a tool, his days a monotonous blur of endless chores, tending the horses, vast herds of sturdy, shaggy ponies that were the lifeblood of the Mongol army, mucking out their pens, carrying heavy buckets of water from the distant river, hauling armfuls of dried dung for fuel, collecting wild herbs and roots from the sparse, windswept plains, his back aching from bending, his arms burning from the weight, his whole small body protesting against the ceaseless labor, each day a carbon copy of the last, an endless cycle of toil and deprivation, designed, they were told by the gruff, unfeeling Mongol warriors, to serve the great Khan and ensure the empire's eternal glory, but in reality, it served only to break their will, to crush their spirits, and to extinguish any spark of hope that might still flicker within their aching hearts, leaving them hollow and empty, their dreams replaced by the grim reality of endless servitude. The Mongol camp itself, a sprawling collection of jars, horse pens, and scattered cooking fires, was a harsh, unforgiving world, a constant swirl of activity, of shouting warriors, of whinnying horses, of the distant, rhythmic thud of bows being strung and arrows being loosed at practice targets, a cacophony of sounds that spoke of military discipline, of brutal efficiency, of a terrifying, organized power that could crush any resistance, any defiance, a power that held every life in its iron grip. The warriors, men with hard faces and even harder hearts, their eyes cold and sharp like hawks, their bodies clad in layers of leather and fur, their voices guttural, moved among the camp with an intimidating authority, their shouts echoing across the dusty grounds, pushing, prodding, punishing, ensuring that every hand moved, every back bent, every ounce of energy was squeezed from the countless servants, captives, and even their own lessers, all caught in the relentless maw of the Khan's grand vision, a vision of eternal conquest built on the temporal suffering of his myriad peoples, a stark reality that the glorious tales of Mongol might conveniently forgot to mention in their victorious sagas, for while the Mongol nobles and favored warriors might feast on roasted meats and rich kumis, fermented mare's milk, in the warmth of their intricately decorated jars, wearing fine silks and furs plundered from conquered lands, Temujin's daily meal was a handful of coarse, dried meat, often tough and stringy, a few hardened millet cakes, and a cup of lukewarm, often brackish, river water, a meager sustenance that barely fueled his endless labor, leaving his stomach perpetually gnawing with a dull, aching hunger that was a far more constant companion than any friend, a persistent emptiness that even dreams of feasts could not fill, only make worse, transforming every fleeting thought of food into a painful, vivid torment. At night, after the sun had dipped below the vast, empty horizon, painting the sky with fiery streaks of orange and purple, a fleeting moment of breathtaking beauty that belied the harshness of the day, Temujin would collapse onto his rough felt mat in the small, cramped gur he shared with other young Batu, the air inside thick with the smells of mutton fat, dried dung smoke, many unwashed bodies, and a constant buzz of flies and stinging mosquitoes, a persistent swarm that seemed to find its way through every crack in the gar's felt, making sleep a fitful, restless affair, interrupted by itching bites and the vague, distant cries of wild animals or sometimes, humans suffering from other parts of the camp, muffled by the thick felt walls, a constant reminder of the brutal life that permeated every corner of their existence. He would often lie awake for long hours, listening to the soft snores of the other servants, the distant howls of wolves from the desolate plains, and the rhythmic, almost hypnotic chirping of crickets, his mind, too tired to truly dream of anything good, filled instead with the clear, sharp pictures of his day, the shimmering heat haze rising from the dusty ground, the vast, thundering herds of horses, the gleam of a warrior's polished blade, the cold, unfeeling face of the head guard, a hulking, scarred man named Batu, whose eyes seemed to hold no kindness, no warmth at all, only cold calculation and the ever-present threat of violence, a man whose presence alone could send shivers down Temujin's spine. Temujin harbored no illusions of grandeur, no fanciful notions of escaping or rising in rank. His fate, like that of his captured kin before him, was sealed by the iron will of the Khan, a destiny of endless labor, of dust and horses, of subservience to the empire, a humble existence, yet one that, until very, very recently, had felt predictable, safe in its monotonous rhythm of pain and survival. A life without surprises, just the quiet acceptance of his grim reality. But now, a subtle shift, a creeping feeling of wrongness, had started to spread through his small, dusty world, a feeling that was much more than just the usual hard times, a new kind of dark shadow that grew longer with every sunset, a strange mystery that was slowly, silently, starting to show itself, beginning with the whispers. The older Batu, their faces etched with deep lines of hardship and resignation, would sometimes gather in hushed groups around the dying embers of the communal fires, their voices low, barely audible above the wind, telling strange, unsettling stories, tales not of the usual Mongol brutality, which they had all come to accept as a fact of life, but of something else, something far more sinister. Something that went beyond mere human cruelty, something supernatural, something ancient, something that made even the bravest among them cast furtive, nervous glances towards the distant, larger gur of their commanding officer, a fierce general named Bir, known for his relentless campaigns and his absolute devotion to the great Khan. These whispers spoke of strange occurrences, of objects moving by themselves in the dead of night, of chilling, disembodied voices drifting on the wind, of fleeting, ghostly figures seen lurking on the fringes of the camp, figures that were too tall, too thin, too pale to be human, their eyes glowing with an eerie, internal light, specters of the desolate steppes, spirits of the lost, or perhaps something far worse. Something that had awoken in the vast emptiness of the plains, drawn by the Mongols' endless conquests, by the rivers of blood they had shed, by the countless souls they had claimed. And then there was the head guard, Batu. He was usually a picture of grim, unyielding strength, his face a mask of cold indifference. But sometimes, late at night, when he thought no one was watching, Temujin had seen him standing alone on the edge of the camp, staring out into the vast, dark expanse of the steppe, his massive shoulders hunched, a look of profound, almost ancient fear on his scarred face. A fear that was far more intense than any Temujin had ever seen him display in battle, a fear that transformed the fearsome guard into a fragile, tormented figure, his unwavering loyalty to the Khan seemingly overshadowed by an unknown, deeper terror. Temujin, with his keen, observant eyes, noticed other subtle details that others seemed to miss, or perhaps chose to ignore out of sheer self-preservation, like the way Batu's right hand, the one that wielded his curved saber with such deadly efficiency, sometimes trembled almost imperceptibly, a small, involuntary tremor that betrayed a hidden weakness, a deep, internal struggle that belied his outward show of strength. And he also noticed a faint, almost invisible marking on the back of Batu's neck, just beneath the collar of his leather tunic, a mark that looked like a series of tiny, interlocking, serpentine scales, subtly shimmering with a dull, almost iridescent green light whenever Batu moved his head in a certain way, a mark that felt ancient, powerful, and deeply unsettling, a symbol that seemed to pulse with a hidden energy, a dark secret lurking beneath the surface of the Mongols' brutal efficiency. A silent, pervasive force orchestrating events from the shadows, a mark that felt strangely familiar, echoing a shape he had seen in a half-forgotten dream, a dream of swirling green mists and a coiled serpent, a dream that now returned with an unnerving clarity. This symbol, which he initially dismissed as a mere scar or a strange tattoo, began to appear with an unnerving frequency, its ominous presence a constant, chilling reminder that something far more sinister than mere military conquest was at play, something that transcended the brutal realities of the Mongol Empire, something ancient and malevolent that was slowly, silently, weaving a web of control over the entire camp, over the very course of their lives, twisting the Mongols' ruthless power for its own dark, ancient purposes. Temujin's parents, he realized with a sickening certainty, had not merely been random victims of Mongol expansion. They, too, had come from a land touched by this hidden evil, a secret network, and had been silenced, swallowed by a conspiracy far deeper, far more terrifying than the public pronouncements of the Great Khan, a secret war being fought in the shadows, a battle for the very soul of the steppes, a battle that had now, terrifyingly, descended upon the Mongol camp itself, and Temujin, with his quick mind and his unyielding courage, felt a burning desire to uncover this truth, to expose the unseen forces that manipulated the Mongols, that devoured innocent lives, that twisted the very fabric of power, even if it meant risking his own fragile existence, his last, desperate hope to find meaning in his profound loss, to understand the forces that had shattered his world. His days now were a carefully choreographed dance of survival and stealthy investigation, tending the horses, carrying water, collecting dung, his eyes constantly scanning, his ears straining to catch any stray whispers, any cryptic clues, any glimpse of the coiled scale symbol that marked his unseen enemies, his small, thin body moving like a ghost through the bustling camp. An invisible observer in a world blinded by its own power and fear, a forgotten child bearing the weight of a monumental secret. He learned the rhythms of the camp, the changing shifts of the guards, the secret meeting places of the various warrior factions, the hushed conversations around the cooking fires, the desperate prayers whispered to the wind by the elderly captives, slowly building a mental map of the camp's hidden currents, its secret pathways, its underground networks of power and fear, a living tapestry of strength and subservience. The gnawing hunger in his stomach was a constant, dull ache, but the burning desire for truth, for justice for his lost family, fueled his weary body, pushing him onward beyond the limits of his physical endurance, his young spirit hardened by the cruel realities of his new world, a world where innocence was a luxury he could no longer afford, a weakness he had to shed to survive. One particularly cold and clear evening, as dusk settled over the vast steppes, painting the skies with hues of bruised purple and angry red, a fleeting moment of breathtaking beauty before the long, dark night, Temujin found himself hiding in the shadows behind the large gur of General Beer, the fierce commander of their horde, a man whose presence filled the air with an almost palpable aura of power and ruthlessness. A man feared by everyone, from the lowliest batter to the most seasoned warrior, and he was mending a torn horse blanket, his fingers numb with cold, when he noticed a faint, rhythmic humming sound coming from within General Beer's gur, a sound that seemed to pulse with an eerie, internal energy, a subtle, rhythmic glow that was unlike any normal lamp or torch, a sound that immediately made the small, serpentine scale symbol on Batu's neck flash in his mind. A chilling connection that sent a shiver of dread down his spine, for he knew, with a sickening certainty, That this was not merely a general's tent, but a hidden meeting place, a secret lair of the unseen forces that manipulated the Mongols, that orchestrated the very conquests of the empire. His heart pounded a frantic rhythm against his ribs, a drumbeat of both fear and a burning curiosity, a desperate need to know, to understand the secrets that lay beneath the thick felt walls of Beer's Gur. And he cautiously approached the Gur, his bare feet silent on the frozen ground, his small, thin body moving with an almost unnatural stealth, his senses heightened, his ears straining to catch any sound, any whisper that might betray the nature of the hidden meeting. And as he reached the back of the Gur, he noticed a small, almost invisible gap where the felt flaps overlapped, a thin sliver of darkness beckoning him inward, and a peculiar, sickly sweet smell, a scent he now instantly recognized as the disturbing perfume of decay and unnatural chemicals, wafted outwards, a smell that made his stomach churn and his head ache with a dull, throbbing pain. A chilling confirmation that the secrets within were indeed tied to something vile, something twisted, something far beyond mere military strategy, a scent that echoed the forgotten horrors of the whispers among the old Batu, linking this new, terrifying reality to the depths of ancient evils, a profound, unsettling realization that the Mongol Empire, despite its fearsome might, was merely a pawn in a far grander, far more sinister game. He carefully knelt, his eye pressed against the narrow gap in the felt, and what he saw inside made his blood run cold, making his breath catch in his throat, a silent scream trapped in his chest, for within the dimly lit Gur, in a circle around a pulsating, dark crystal, a massive, obsidian shard that radiated a malevolent, green light, a light that pulsed with a rhythmic, hypnotic energy, casting grotesque, shifting shadows that danced like demons on the intricately decorated felt walls. A group of cloaked figures, their faces obscured by deep hoods, stood in a solemn, silent ritual, their movements synchronized, almost robotic, and at the center of the circle, standing before the glowing crystal, was General Beer, his fierce, scarred face illuminated by the eerie green light, his eyes, usually cold and sharp, now burning with an almost unholy fervor. A terrifying zeal that transformed him from a military commander into a priest of a dark, ancient cult, and around his neck, gleaming faintly in the green light, was an amulet, a delicate leather thong from which hung a single, watchful eye, its pupil elongated, reptilian, surrounded by a subtle, almost invisible swirl of tiny, interlocking scales, the very symbol Temujin had seen etched on Batu's neck, a chilling confirmation that General Beer, one of the most powerful commanders in the Mongol army, was not merely a ruthless conqueror, but the hidden master of this sinister network, the high priest of this ancient cult, a terrifying revelation that shattered Temujin's understanding of the Mongol Empire, exposing a deeper, more insidious conspiracy, a primordial evil manipulating the Empire's conquests for its own dark, ancient purposes. The cloaked figures, members of this secret society, began to chant in a low, guttural language, a rhythmic, hypnotic hum that seemed to vibrate through the very ground beneath Temujin, a sound that resonated with the humming he had heard, a sound of ancient power, of malevolent intent, a chant that filled the Gur with an oppressive, suffocating darkness, a palpable evil that threatened to consume all light, all hope, all sanity, every good thought. And as they chanted, the dark crystal in the center of the circle pulsed with an even greater intensity, its green light flaring, casting terrifying shadows that writhed and twisted like tormented souls, and a series of ancient, cryptic symbols, glowing with the same eerie green light, began to appear on the felt walls, symbols that depicted distorted human figures, strange, terrible machines, and a colossal, coiled serpent, its fangs dripping with luminous venom, its eyes burning with primordial malevolence, a terrifying iconography that linked this new, terrifying reality to a universal, ancient evil, a cosmic horror that transcended time and place, a chilling revelation that the Mongol Empire, despite its fearsome might, was merely a tool, a weapon in the hand of Temujin, his mind completely spinning from the unbelievable horror, the profound, shocking revelation that General Beer was not just a ruthless Mongol commander, but the high priest of a secret cult, a cult that worshipped a primordial, ancient serpent of chaos, a cult that was secretly controlling and manipulating the Mongol Empire's conquests for its own sinister ends, felt a powerful surge of fear. A terror that threatened to completely overwhelm him, to make him faint, but also, surprisingly, a fierce, unyielding resolve, a burning desire to uncover this ultimate evil, to fight back with all his might against the dark forces that had claimed his family, that now threatened to consume the entire known world, to twist the Mongols' ruthless power into a monstrous parody of conquest, a chilling mockery of true leadership. He knew, with a sickening certainty that went deep into his gut, that he had stumbled upon a truth so vast, so incredibly dangerous, that it could either save the world from utter destruction or completely destroy him, a truth that transformed his personal, quiet quest for understanding into a huge battle for the very soul of humanity, for what it meant to be human, a battle against an ancient, primordial evil that had resurfaced in the chaos of the Mongol conquests, using the very symbols of strength as its cruel tools of subjugation, turning the very concept of power into a horrifying instrument of control, of enslavement. He quickly, silently, retreated from the gap in the veldt, his bare feet making absolutely no sound on the frozen ground, his small body trembling uncontrollably, his heart pounding a frantic, wild rhythm against his ribs, a desperate drumbeat of fear and a slowly growing defiance, and he made his way stealthily out of the shadows behind Birzgur, back into the biting cold of the steppe night. His mind racing with 1,000 terrifying thoughts, his earlier vision of the Mongol Empire as merely a brutal, conquering force now completely replaced by a chilling image of an empire completely trapped in a huge web of ancient evil, its fearsome might hiding a monstrous, dark heart that beat with the terrifying rhythm of chaos, a rhythm that was slowly, unavoidably, dragging all known lands into a deep abyss of eternal darkness, a place from which there would be no return. The bitter, cold wind whipped harshly around him, carrying the familiar smells of mutton fat and dry dung smoke, but now, mixed with that, was the faint, unsettling perfume of decay and unnatural chemicals, the sickly sweet smell that emanated strongly from the cult's hidden lair, a constant, chilling reminder of the horrors he had just witnessed, a scent that seemed to follow him everywhere, clinging to his old clothes, filling his nostrils, a terrifying souvenir of his brush with ultimate evil, a mark that would never leave him. He desperately needed a plan. He desperately needed allies, people who would believe him. He needed to expose this terrifying truth to the world, to the bewildered, terrified peoples under Mongol rule, to even the Mongol warriors themselves who were blindly following Bir's orders, unknowingly becoming tiny pieces in a far grander, far more sinister game, a game that played with their lives and their souls. But who, oh who, would believe him, a mere Batu, a forgotten, starving captive? Against one of the most powerful generals in the Mongol army, the high priest of a primordial cult that controlled everything? The challenge seemed impossible to overcome, the odds impossibly stacked against him, like trying to move a mountain with his bare hands. But the strong memory of his kind, gentle parents, their innocent lives cruelly extinguished by this unseen enemy, fueled his resolve, hardening his young heart with a fierce determination, a burning desire for justice that went beyond his own immense fear. That pushed him to fight against an evil that threatened to consume everything he held dear, every good thing in the world, to save not just himself, but the very essence of humanity from being twisted beyond recognition. He sought refuge in a deserted, crumbling shaman's hut, a place far from the main camp, where the air was thick with the dust of centuries and the silent echoes of forgotten spirits, a sanctuary of deep shadows and ancient veldt, its oppressive, heavy quiet a welcome change from the loud chaos and fear that pulsed constantly in the camp, a place where he could think clearly, where he could plan, where he could gather his shattered thoughts, and try to build a weapon out of the terrifying truth he now possessed, a truth that could either save or destroy. As he huddled among the dusty, discarded shamanic tools, their ancient carvings barely visible in the faint moonlight filtering through a small hole in the Ger's veldt, a ghostly illumination, Temujin unfurled a small, crumpled piece of hardened leather he had secretly taken from his father's old saddlebag, a faded drawing his father had made many years ago, a whimsical sketch of an ancient, intricate horse harness mechanism, its tiny, interlocking buckles and straps drawn with a meticulous, careful precision that spoke of a hidden passion, a secret hobby, a mechanical genius that went far beyond simply tending horses, showing a hidden brilliance. And as his fingers traced the familiar lines of the drawing, his mind, still buzzing with the terrifying images of the glowing crystal, the chanting figures, and Bir's cold, reptilian eye, a sudden, chilling realization struck him. A powerful flash of insight that connected the drawing directly to the cult's symbol, to the cult itself. To the ultimate, ancient evil. The tiny, interlocking scales surrounding the reptilian eye in the cult's symbol, the very symbol that adorned Beer's amulet and was etched on Bata's neck, were not merely decorative, not just pretty designs. They were a subtle, cryptic clue, a hidden language, a secret sign that the cult's power, its ancient magic, was deeply interwoven with a sophisticated, advanced mechanical ingenuity. A terrifying fusion of primordial evil and advanced technology, a secret that completely transcended the simple understanding of magic and superstition, a revelation that transformed his perception of their enemy from just mere sorcerers to something far more dangerous, far more insidious, masters of both ancient, dark rituals and complex, terrifying arcane mechanisms, combining the oldest and newest evils. His father, he realized with a painful surge of understanding that brought tears to his eyes, had been a brilliant inventor, a secret genius who had been unknowingly drawn into this terrifying web, perhaps even glimpsing the cult's true nature, their technological secrets, before he was brutally silenced, his knowledge deemed too dangerous, too revealing. A chilling confirmation that his parents' fate was directly linked to this ancient, mechanical evil, that they had died because of what his father knew, because of the secrets he had unknowingly uncovered. The fragmented, broken memories of his father's hushed conversations, his clandestine, secret work in the back of their small gur, the strange whirring sounds that sometimes emanated from his hidden workshop, all now clicked perfectly into place, forming a terrifying mosaic of revelation, a confirmation that his father, a simple, kind horseman, had been a key player in a hidden, desperate war against an ancient, technologically advanced cult, a war that had now, terrifyingly, fallen to him, a mere child, to continue, to finish, to win, to claim his father's legacy. The piece of hardened leather, once just a sentimental keepsake, a fond memory, now completely transformed into a vital clue, a hidden map to his father's secret knowledge, his concealed inventions, his forgotten defenses, a powerful weapon against the very forces that had consumed him, a legacy of defiance that had been unknowingly passed down to Temujin, a legacy he now had to fully embrace, to take on with all his strength. To become the warrior his father never had the chance to be. He knew, with a fierce certainty that burned in his young soul, that his father's secret workshop, hidden somewhere beneath their old gur, or perhaps a hidden cave, must contain further clues, more blueprints, perhaps even fully working prototypes of amazing devices designed to counter the cult's mechanical magic, powerful weapons that could fight back against Beer's terrifying power. Tools that could expose the ultimate truth and bring it to light, and he felt a surge of desperate hope, a fragile, trembling beacon in the overwhelming darkness, knowing that he was not entirely alone, that his father, even in death, had left him a path, a chance to fight back, a glimmer of light in the deepest shadows of the Mongol Empire. He desperately needed to get back to his old home, to the only place he had ever truly known peace, to unlock its hidden secrets, to reclaim his father's legacy, to find the powerful weapons he needed to fight this ancient, technologically advanced evil, this monster that played with power and lives, and now, the very soul of the steppes. The journey back to his old, destroyed village, a place now swallowed by the vast, empty plains, was fraught with extreme peril, the dark, deserted steppes now seeming to pulse with the unseen presence of the cult's agents, their watchful, reptilian eyes lurking in every dark shadow, their silent, creeping footsteps echoing ominously in the oppressive silence, a chilling reminder of the pervasive, constant danger that surrounded him. Like a suffocating shroud, but Temujin, fueled by a powerful, renewed sense of purpose, by the burning desire to avenge his innocent parents, moved with a newfound stealth, his small body a mere shadow among the rolling hills, his senses heightened, every nerve awake, his mind sharp, his heart beating a steady, determined rhythm of desperate resolve, a silent promise to himself to not give up, to become stronger than his fear. He reached the ruins of his village, its once welcoming cluster of jars now dark and desolate, its felt walls torn, its hearts cold, a grim monument to a life that had been violently extinguished, a silent testament to the Mongols' brutal, unfeeling efficiency. But for Temujin, it was more than just a ruined village, it was a sanctuary of memory, a repository of his father's genius, a hidden arsenal against the forces of chaos, a place of hope, a link to his past. He carefully navigated the familiar space, his hands brushing against torn felt, broken pottery, and scattered household tools, each touch a poignant, sad reminder of his lost childhood, his stolen innocence, his parents' gentle, loving presence, a world that was gone forever. And he found the secret entrance to his father's workshop, cleverly hidden beneath a large, oddly shaped rock near the remains of their gur. A spot he had once stumbled upon as a curious child, only to be gently, but firmly, redirected by his father, his young mind completely unaware of the profound, dangerous secrets that lay hidden beneath, secrets that would now become his inheritance. With a grunt of effort, he moved the heavy rock, revealing a narrow, dark opening leading downwards, a descent into the hidden genius of his father, a passage into the heart of a technological mystery, a journey into the unknown depths of his family's past, a path that promised to reveal more than just memories, but weapons. As he descended into the subterranean darkness, the air grew thick with the strong smell of old oil, metal, and something vaguely electrical, a scent that spoke of intricate machinery, of hidden contraptions, of a world far removed from the simple reality of tending horses, a smell that filled him with a powerful mix of awe and a profound sense of connection to his lost father, a feeling of finally understanding him, of being close to him again, a silent communion across the chasm of death. He reached the bottom of the rough, earthen steps, into a surprisingly spacious chamber, a hidden workshop filled with a dazzling array of strange, intricate machines, their surfaces gleaming dully in the faint light filtering from above, casting eerie shadows, and the walls were adorned with countless blueprints, detailed schematics, and cryptic notes, all covered in his father's familiar, meticulous handwriting. A testament to his secret life as an inventor, a silent genius who had toiled tirelessly in the shadows, creating wonders in a world that would never understand his brilliance, a world consumed by chaos and fear, a brilliant mind hidden in plain sight. In the center of the workshop, on a large wooden workbench, lay a partially assembled device, its intricate gears and springs gleaming, its polished brass casing glinting, a magnificent clockwork mechanism, far more complex and elegant than anything Temujin had ever seen, a true marvel of engineering, and beside it, a series of glowing crystals, pulsating with a soft, ethereal light, not the malevolent, evil green of Beer's amulet, but a gentle, comforting golden hue, a light that seemed to hum with a benevolent energy, a powerful contrast to the dark forces he had encountered, a clear sign that his father's creations were designed not for destruction, but for protection, for balance, for a higher, purer purpose, a force for good. As Temujin examined the device, his fingers tracing its intricate components, his mind, sharpened by his father's earlier drawing, slowly began to comprehend its complex function, a complex mechanism designed to detect and disrupt specific, malevolent energy signatures, a tool to identify and neutralize the cult's dangerous mechanical magic. A powerful weapon to fight back against Beer's technologically advanced evil, a magnificent testament to his father's foresight, his incredible genius, his unwavering defiance against the growing darkness. And among the blueprints, Temujin found a detailed diagram, a map not of the known steppes, but of a hidden, vast network of subterranean tunnels and secret chambers beneath the plains, a labyrinthine underworld woven beneath the vast, empty grasslands, a secret passage system that strangely mirrored the map from the Keepers of the Scales, which he had seen in his ancient Egyptian nightmare-like stories, but with an added layer of intricate, technical detail, marking specific nodes of malevolent energy, hidden conduits, and concealed weaknesses within the cult's subterranean network, a chilling confirmation that his father had not only known about the cult, but had actively been researching their operations, their technological secrets, their hidden vulnerabilities, their every weakness. This map, far more detailed and technically advanced than any scroll, confirmed his earlier suspicions that the cult of the serpent, as he now mentally called them, connecting them to his dream, to Beer's amulet, and to the symbol on Batu's neck, possessed a power deeply interwoven with sophisticated, mechanical ingenuity, a terrifying fusion of primordial evil and advanced technology. A secret that completely transcended the simple understanding of magic and superstition, a revelation that transformed his perception of their enemy from just mere sorcerers to something far more dangerous, far more insidious, masters of both ancient, dark rituals and complex, terrifying arcane mechanisms, combining the oldest and newest evils. And this map also marked a specific location, deep beneath the very heart of the Mongol camp, a hidden chamber designated as the World's Spine Nexus, a place where the cult's mechanical magic was most concentrated, a central hub of their terrifying technological power, a terrifying nexus of gears, crystals, and dark energy, a pulsing heart of their evil. And beside the map, a series of notes in his father's hurried, almost desperate handwriting spoke of a geomantic distortion, a manipulation of earth energies, and a perversion of the natural flow of the world's life force. A horrifying theory that suggested the cult's ultimate goal was not just political control over the Mongol Empire, but the complete manipulation of the very earth beneath their feet, to twist the land itself, to alter the natural order of the steppes, to ensure a Pep's eternal, unending reign over a corrupted, dying world, a cosmic horror far beyond anything Temujin had ever imagined, a terrifying ambition that made his blood run cold, making him shiver uncontrollably, for if they could control the very earth, they could control everything, they could make his parents' disappearance permanent, irreversible, their very existence completely erased from the annals of time, as if they had never lived, a terrifying thought that filled him with both immense fear and a burning, desperate fury. A fury that solidified into an unshakable resolve to fight back, to prevent this ultimate abomination. To save his world from being unmade. Temujin's small hands, though still trembling slightly from the sheer, shocking discovery he had just made, the incredible secret about his father and the evil cult, instinctively tightened around the crumpled piece of hardened leather, the precious drawing that now held the key to his father's hidden genius, a genius now tragically cut short. Taken away too soon by the very evil he had secretly sought to understand and fight against, and a profound, deep wave of sadness, like a heavy, cold ocean, washed over him, momentarily blurring the intricate lines of the horse harness mechanism, the complex clockwork parts his father had designed, the sudden, overwhelming realization that his brave, kind father, a man who had secretly worked tirelessly in the shadows, crafting amazing wonders in a world that saw him only as a simple horseman, was truly gone forever. Swallowed by the immense, dark power of the Mongol Empire, and the unseen forces that controlled it, leaving behind only these scattered, broken fragments of his brilliant, defiant mind, a legacy of quiet rebellion and astonishing skill that now, terrifyingly, rested squarely on Temujin's young, inexperienced shoulders, a burden that felt much, much heavier than any heavy bucket of water or armful of dried dung he had ever carried, a responsibility that seemed to stretch into an endless, suffocating future, a dark, unknown path he now had to walk alone, yet mingled with this crushing sorrow, this deep, aching grief, was a fierce, burning anger, a righteous fury against General Beer, against the head guard Batu, against the insidious cult of the serpent, against the invisible, ancient forces that had not only brutally murdered his parents, but now threatened to twist the very land beneath their feet, to corrupt the natural order of the steppes, to make his family's disappearance permanent, irreversible, their very existence completely erased from the annals of time. A fate far, far worse than death, a cosmic erasure that Temujin, with every single fiber of his young being, but for the entire steppe, for its history, for its truth, for the very concept of reality, a monumental battle against an ancient evil that sought to unravel the very essence of existence, to consume all land, all memory, all future, a cosmic horror beyond human comprehension, now manifest in the heart of the Mongol Empire, twisting its fearsome might for its own dark, terrifying purposes, turning warriors into puppets, and the very earth into a weapon. The cold, damp air of the shaman's hut, once a sanctuary of quiet despair and forgotten spirits, now felt like a crucible, a blazing forge where his deep grief and burning fury were slowly, painfully, being hammered into a sharpened resolve, a powerful, unyielding determination that hardened his young heart, preparing him for the monumental task ahead, a task that required not just raw courage, but a profound, deep understanding of his father's hidden genius, a deep dive into the complex, dangerous world of mechanical magic and geomantic manipulation, a world far removed from the simple reality of horses and felt tents, a world he now had to master with an astonishing speed, an intuitive understanding that seemed to come from deep within his very soul, a natural connection to the hidden forces of creation and destruction, a talent that had lain dormant, waiting for this desperate, terrifying moment to awaken. He spent the next few days, hidden deep beneath the old, crumbling shaman's hut, meticulously poring over his father's blueprints, his detailed schematics, his cryptic notes, his small, trembling fingers tracing the intricate components of the clockwork device, his mind, though completely untutored in formal academics or scholarly teachings, absorbing the complex information with an astonishing speed. An intuitive understanding that spoke of a hidden brilliance, an inherited genius, a natural aptitude for the very science that the cult of the serpent sought to pervert, a talent that had lain dormant for years, waiting for this desperate, terrifying moment to awaken, to be unleashed against the growing darkness, transforming him from a simple batu into a potential master of arcane mechanics. And his only companion in this hidden, secret world was a very old, wise shamaness, a woman with a face like ancient leather and eyes like polished obsidian, who had secretly found him after his desperate escape from the Mongol camp, her knowledge of the steppe's hidden pathways and ancient lore proving invaluable, a silent, powerful ally in his desperate quest. Her presence a comforting anchor in the dizzying whirlwind of Temujin's newfound purpose, a constant source of strength and reassurance in the overwhelming darkness, her quiet wisdom a powerful balm to his frayed nerves, strengthening his resolve with every passing moment, guiding him with her gentle, knowing presence, her every word a thread of ancient wisdom. She often read aloud from strange, ancient scrolls of cured animal hide, scrolls that held cryptic diagrams and symbols of earth energies, diagrams that strangely echoed the intricate details of his father's mechanical drawings, their ancient hieroglyphs now revealing deeper, more profound meanings when viewed through the lens of his father's mechanical genius, the cryptic symbols intertwining with the technological schematics, forming a comprehensive blueprint of the cult's operations. Its ancient geomantic magic and its advanced technology now understood as two terrifying sides of the same insidious coin, a horrifying fusion of primordial evil and cutting-edge science, a complete picture of the enemy they faced, and her soft, rhythmic voice, filled with the echoes of ancient wisdom, of counterspells and purification rituals, of the weaknesses of a pep. For the shamaness recognized the serpent symbol and knew its ancient name, and his silent ones, a term she used to describe those twisted by the cult's power, drawing a direct, chilling parallel to Temujin's nightmare-like stories of ancient Egypt, filled the small, cramped shaman's hut, providing Temujin with the spiritual and magical knowledge to complement his father's mechanical ingenuity, a perfect, powerful fusion of ancient magic and modern technology, a holistic approach to fighting a multifaceted, deeply entrenched evil. A formidable arsenal against a cosmic horror that transcended simple understanding, a terrifying blend of science and sorcery that threatened to unmake the very world. The ancient shamaness also possessed a small, strangely carved wooden totem, shaped like a powerful, roaring bear, its surface intricately carved with symbols of protection and geomantic stability, and whenever she performed her quiet rituals, humming ancient melodies, the totem would glow with a soft, protective aura, its pure essence radiating a subtle, benevolent energy that permeated the shaman's hut, cleansing the air, subtly warding off any lingering malevolence, a powerful symbol of divine aid, a constant source of spiritual strength, reminding them that they were not entirely alone in their desperate struggle, that the ancient forces of the steppe, of truth and balance, were also silently supporting their perilous quest, lending their ancient power to a young, forgotten boy and his wise companion, a fragile but potent shield against the encroaching darkness, a silent promise of hidden strengths. Temujin's hands, once calloused and rough from the endless toil of mucking out horse pens and hauling water, now grew surprisingly nimble, delicate, precise, as he meticulously assembled the remaining components of the clockwork device, his father's magnificent creation, fitting intricate gears with a steady hand, soldering delicate wires, a skill he quickly mastered under his father's detailed instructions, even though he had never seen such things before, calibrating shimmering crystals that pulsed with a gentle golden light, each precise movement a testament to his growing skill, his unwavering focus, his desperate determination, transforming him from a simple batu into a burgeoning master of arcane mechanics, a silent tribute to his brilliant, defiant father, whose legacy was now being resurrected in the heart of the desolate steppe, a beacon of hope against the creeping evil. As the device slowly took shape, its polished brass casing gleaming, its intricate mechanisms humming with a low, steady energy, its delicate hands rotating with a mesmerizing precision, radiating a warm, benevolent glow, a stark contrast to the malevolent hum of the cult's dark crystal. Temujin felt a profound, almost spiritual sense of connection to his father, a silent conversation across the chasm of death. A shared purpose that transcended the boundaries of time, a feeling of being guided, protected, and powered by the enduring legacy of his brilliant, defiant parent, a bond that strengthened his resolve with every passing moment, making him feel less alone, more capable, more determined than ever, ready to face the impossible with a quiet, fierce strength. He knew, with absolute certainty, that this magnificent device, the geomantic stabilizer, as his father's notes had cryptically named it, was the key to disrupting the cult's geomantic distortions, to preventing their manipulation of the Earth's energies, to saving the steppes from an eternal abyss of chaos, to saving the natural flow of the world's life force from being twisted, to restoring the delicate balance of the land, a monumental task that now rested squarely on his young, determined shoulders, a heavy weight that he now carried with a quiet, unwavering strength, his pure heart a defiant, blazing beacon against the encroaching darkness, a light that refused to be extinguished. His father's map, the detailed diagram of the subterranean tunnels and the precise location of the world's spine nexus, now became their primary guide, a comprehensive blueprint for their final, desperate assault, a path fraught with immense peril, filled with unknown dangers, but now, a path they were fully prepared to face, armed with ancient knowledge from the shamanists, divine protection from the bear totem, and the cutting-edge, arcane technology of his father's genius, a formidable arsenal. Against an enemy that combined the oldest and newest evils, a battle that would redefine the very meaning of survival, a desperate fight for the very soul of the steppes, and indeed, the world itself. As the final gear clicked into place, as the last crystal shimmered with a vibrant, golden light, the geomantic stabilizer, his father's masterpiece, sprang to life, its intricate mechanisms humming with a low, steady energy, its delicate hands rotating with a mesmerizing precision, its polished brass casing radiating a warm, benevolent glow, a magnificent testament to his father's genius. A powerful weapon against the cult's geomantic manipulations, a beacon of hope in the overwhelming darkness, a silent promise of triumph. Temujin held it in his trembling hands, its cool, smooth surface feeling strangely alive, pulsing with the combined power of ancient magic and cutting-edge technology, a physical embodiment of his father's legacy, his heart swelling with a mix of profound triumph, lingering grief, and a renewed sense of unwavering determination, knowing that this was his moment, his destiny, his chance to fight back against the darkness that had consumed his world, to fulfill his father's promise, to bring balance back to the land. The night of their final, most dangerous mission arrived, a cold, starless night that seemed to hold its breath in anticipation of the coming struggle, the vast steppe shrouded in a thick, oppressive silence, broken only by the distant, muffled sounds of Mongol patrols and the occasional, mournful howl of a lone wolf, a profound stillness that belied the monumental, cosmic battle that was about to unfold deep beneath its ancient, dust-filled plains, a struggle that would determine not just the fate of the Mongol Empire, but the very Temujin and the wise shamanists, their faces grim, but their eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering determination, made their final preparations, their bodies tense but their spirits resolute, their mission clear, to infiltrate the heart of the Mongol camp, to navigate the subterranean labyrinth, to reach the world's spine nexus, and to shatter the cult's geomantic machine, to restore the natural flow of earth energies, to free the steppes from the insidious grip of the cult of the serpent, and to avenge his parents, to honor his father's legacy, to bring light back to the shadows that threatened to consume their world, a quest that was now etched into the very core of their being, a desperate gamble with the highest possible stakes, a fight for life itself. They exited the hidden workshop beneath the shaman's hut, carefully sealing the entrance behind them, leaving the comforting echoes of his father's genius for the terrifying reality of the camp above. The geomantic stabilizer carefully concealed beneath Temujin's rough wool tunic, its golden glow a secret warmth against his chest, a powerful, silent guardian against the encroaching darkness. The bear totem held firmly by the shamanists, its protective aura subtly shimmering, its carved surface a promise of divine protection, a vital shield against the cult's dark magic. They made their way stealthily across the deserted steppes, their bare feet silent on the frozen ground, their shadows long and dancing in the faint, distant moonlight filtering through the clouds, moving like true phantoms through the sleeping, silent land, their senses heightened, every nerve awake, their ears straining for any sound, their eyes scanning every ridge, every hollow, every flickering campfire light, searching for any sign of Beer's agents. Knowing that the cult would be even more vigilant now, their presence a constant, suffocating threat, a palpable evil that seemed to seep from the very dust of the land, twisting its natural essence. They reached the edge of the sprawling Mongol camp, a massive collection of jars, horse pens, and cooking fires, its familiar chaos now seeming infused with a hidden, sinister energy, its fearsome might a mere facade for the ancient evil that pulsed beneath. And they found a hidden entrance, a small, unassuming opening cleverly disguised as a part of a rock formation near the riverbed. Its existence known only to the shamanists and a few ancient lore keepers, and as Temujin carefully pushed it open, a faint, metallic squeak echoing in the profound silence, he felt a wave of cold air drift from within, carrying with it the unmistakable sickly sweet smell, the disturbing perfume of decay and unnatural chemicals, the very scent of Apep's ancient evil, now much stronger, almost overwhelming, a terrifying confirmation that they were indeed at the very threshold of the cult's dark domain. A place where the very earth itself was being bent to the will of chaos, where reality was being unraveled thread by terrifying thread. They slipped inside, into a labyrinthine network of dimly lit subterranean tunnels, their bare feet silent on the cold stone floor, their hearts pounding in unison, a frantic rhythm of shared fear and unwavering determination, their minds focused on his father's map, on the precise, perilous path to the world's spine nexus, the ultimate source of the cult's geomantic power. A terrifying journey into the very heart of a cosmic abomination, a descent into the maw of corrupted earth. The tunnels were a maze of twists and turns, filled with the hushed echoes of their own footsteps, the distant drip of water from unseen cracks, and the occasional scuttling of unseen creatures, a subterranean world of ancient stone and creeping darkness, a place where every shadow seemed to hide a lurking danger, every doorway a potential trap, every moment a perilous gamble. A journey that felt like a descent into the very bowels of the earth itself, a relentless plunge into the unknown, into a place where the world's life force was being drained. The shamaness, guided by her photographic memory of his father's map, a map that detailed not just physical pathways but also geomantic anomalies and energy conduits, led the way with an uncanny precision, her small, bent figure moving with a silent grace, her eyes sharp and watchful, constantly scanning the carved walls for the cryptic symbols that marked their path, for the warnings of hidden traps and guarded checkpoints, for the subtle fluctuations in the geomantic field, her intuitive understanding of the intricate mechanical and geomantic diagrams proving invaluable in their perilous journey, a true testament to her growing skills, her unwavering courage, her hidden talents blossoming in the face of ultimate peril, making her an indispensable partner in their desperate mission, a true master of navigating chaos, her quiet whispers of ancient lore a constant guide. Temujin, holding the geomantic stabilizer beneath his tunic, its golden glow a warm, comforting presence against his chest, a subtle counter-vibration against the growing geomantic distortions, walked closely behind her, his hand instinctively reaching for his father's leather drawing, its worn surface a fragile comfort, a silent talisman against the encroaching darkness. Its intricate horse harness a symbol of his father's genius, his young voice softly, carefully, murmuring the ancient incantations he had learned from the shamaness, protective chants that seemed to resonate through the cold stone, a subtle ward against the malevolent energies that permeated the air, a spiritual shield against the cult's dark magic and its geomantic influence, strengthening their resolve with every word, grounding their reality against the cult's insidious influence, clarifying their purpose. Even as the very earth around them twisted and shimmered with unnatural energy, threatening to pull them into a forgotten, corrupted past or a terrifying future where the land itself was dead, they encountered several silent ones, Mongol warriors whose faces were empty, their eyes devoid of emotion, their movements robotic and precise, their minds clearly under Apep's insidious influence, terrifying sentinels guarding the cult's hidden passages, but these were different from the crude, silent ones Temujin had encountered before. These were subtly enhanced, their movements faster, their reactions sharper, their bodies rippling with an unnatural strength, their forms radiating a faint, greenish glow, a terrifying fusion of mechanical magic and human corruption, a chilling testament to the cult's advanced experiments, their bodies subtly altered, their strength amplified, their senses sharpened by Apep's dark power, making them formidable foes, far more dangerous than any ordinary Mongol warrior, their eyes burning with a cold, unholy light. As these enhanced silent ones lunged at them, their curved sabers gleaming menacingly in the dim light, their movements impossibly swift, almost blurring in their peripheral vision due to localized geomantic distortions around them, Temujin, remembering the shamanist's instructions and his father's warnings, quickly produced a small, carved wooden whistle from his tunic, a tool his father had made, its intricate design meant to emit a specific frequency, and blew into it with all his might. And with a searing shriek of high-pitched sound and a blinding flash of golden light from the geomantic stabilizer, the enhanced silent ones recoiled, their forms momentarily distorted, their green glow flickering, their eyes briefly filled with an agonizing flicker of lost humanity, a profound flicker of pain and confusion as Apep's grip momentarily weakened, their movements temporarily disrupted, their minds momentarily freed from Apep's insidious influence, a glimpse of the terrible suffering they endured under the cult's control, a fleeting window of opportunity to bypass them, to push deeper into the cult's lair, a moment of tragic recognition that solidified Temujin's resolve, a burning desire to free these lost souls, even in their corrupted state, from the grip of Apep. Temujin and the shamaness, using this fleeting moment of disruption, darted past the stunned guards, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and triumph, knowing that his father's whistle and the geomantic stabilizer were indeed powerful weapons, unique gifts that could temporarily sever Apep's corrupting influence. But their power was limited, their effects temporary, and they knew they had to use them wisely, judiciously. Only when truly necessary, a fragile yet potent tool in their desperate struggle against overwhelming odds, a precious resource that needed to be conserved for the most critical moments of their perilous quest. They continued their perilous journey, deeper and deeper into the subterranean underworld, navigating a series of increasingly complex and deadly geomantic traps, collapsing floors triggered by hidden pressure plates that activated even more extreme geomantic displacement fields, throwing them forward or backward through fleeting moments, poisoned darts launched from cleverly concealed apertures that shimmered with a faint green light, their trajectories warped by unstable Earth energies, making them almost impossible to dodge, optical illusions designed to disorient and mislead, causing them to see terrifying alternate paths of the steppes or horrifying possible futures where the land was dead, driving them to madness. And even stronger geomantic distortions that caused moments to stretch into seeming eternities or compress into fleeting blips, making their perceptions unreliable, their movements erratic, each one meticulously designed to deter intruders, to protect the cult's deepest secrets. But the shamaness, guided by his father's map and her own sharp intuition, now enhanced by the subtle influence of the bear totem's protective aura, deftly disarmed each trap, her quick mind and nimble fingers proving to be invaluable, her courage unwavering in the face of immense danger, her understanding of the mechanical and geomantic traps uncanny, as if she could perceive the very flow of manipulated earth energies, a hidden talent that blossomed in the face of peril, making her an indispensable partner in their desperate mission, a true master of navigating chaos, her small, bent figure a blur of focused determination. Her eyes, usually ancient and wise, now burning with a fierce, unwavering light, a reflection of her boundless courage. The air grew heavier, thicker, imbued with an overwhelming sense of primordial darkness and a strange, disorienting geomantic distortion that seemed to actively resist their presence, a suffocating malevolence that seemed to press down on them, trying to crush their spirits, to fill them with despair, to warp their minds, a palpable manifestation of Apep's insidious influence, and its terrifying geomantic power. Its presence growing stronger with every step they took, making the very fabric of reality feel thin and unstable, threatening to unravel their very existence, to dissolve them into the chaotic ether, a profound assault on their senses and their sanity, making them question every perception, every memory, every fragment of their own reality, a terrifying descent into the heart of madness, a battle for their minds, their souls, and the very essence of the steppe itself. Khepri, feeling the oppressive weight of the darkness and the disorienting pull of the geomantic distortions, clutched the geomantic stabilizer even tighter, its golden glow now intensely bright. Fighting against the encroaching evil, its intricate mechanisms humming with a powerful, protective energy, a counter-vibration against the chaotic geomantic flux. His young voice whispering the ancient incantations he had learned from the shamaness, a protective chant that seemed to resonate through the very fabric of the manipulated earth energies, a subtle ward against the malevolent energies that permeated the air, a spiritual shield against the cult's dark magic and its geomantic influence, strengthening their resolve with every word, grounding their reality against the cult's insidious influence, clarifying their purpose, even as the very earth around them twisted and shimmered, threatening to pull them into a forgotten past where the steppe was vibrant, or a terrifying future where the land was barren and dead, a brave struggle against the unmaking of existence itself. They finally reached the heart of the world's spine nexus, a massive, cavernous chamber, its obsidian walls shimmering with intricate, glowing symbols that pulsed with a deep, malevolent green light, the very essence of Apep's geomantic power, a terrifying, pulsing core of cosmic chaos, and in the center of the chamber, suspended above a swirling vortex of dark, pulsating energy that seemed to draw all light into its depths, was a colossal, intricate clockwork mechanism, its gears grinding, its springs coiling, its hands spinning wildly, radiating an immense, malevolent green light that warped the very air around it. The ultimate geomantic machine, the true heart of the cult's power, a terrifying fusion of ancient magic and advanced technology, a monstrous contraption designed to unravel the Earth's life force itself, and at the very core of this colossal machine, encased within layers of shimmering, dark crystal, pulsed the heart of Apep, a dark, pulsating crystal, no larger than a man's head, but radiating a suffocating malevolence, a palpable darkness that seemed to absorb all light, all hope, all joy, all life, the true source of the cult's primordial power, a relic of ultimate chaos, its rhythmic beat echoing through the chamber, a monstrous heartbeat of corrupted earth, a terrifying pulse that resonated with the very essence of Apep, and standing proudly, terrifyingly, before this monstrous machine. His face twisted into a mask of cruel triumph, his eyes burning with a malevolent green light that pulsed in perfect sync with the crystal's beat, was General Beer, now seemingly merged with the geomantic energies of the Nexus, his form subtly shifting, almost shimmering with a faint green geomantic resonance, becoming a terrifying, almost divine manifestation of Apep's will, a grotesque fusion of human malevolence and primordial chaos, a living embodiment of the ultimate evil. "You are too late, pathetic children! The ritual is complete. The heart of Apep is fully awakened. The earth bends to its will. The steps are rewritten. The world's life force is ours. And you will be but a forgotten whisper, a non-existent echo in a history that never was. Behold, fools, the true, boundless, infinite power of Apep. Witness the dawn of a new, eternal age of chaos, forged by our divine will." His words, echoing with a terrifying, multi-layered geomantic distortion that seemed to come from countless points in space, from mountains, rivers, and plains simultaneously, seemed to shatter the very air, filling the chamber with a terrifying, overwhelming sense of impending doom, threatening to unravel their very minds, to plunge them into madness, to erase their very existence from the timeline, a deafening, cosmic roar of corrupted earth, a terrifying symphony of ultimate total destruction. And as he spoke, the colossal clockwork mechanism roared with a final, triumphant, deafening blast, its gears grinding, its crystals flaring with blinding green light, and a powerful wave of geomantic energy, a cosmic ripple of unprecedented magnitude, erupted outwards, making the entire chamber shudder violently, the obsidian walls groaning under the immense, unbearable strain. As if reality itself were tearing apart at the seams, dissolving into the chaotic void, and in that terrifying, agonizing moment, Temujin felt a profound, disorienting pull, a sensation of being stretched, pulled apart, as his mind was assaulted by a torrent of terrifying, conflicting visions, horrifying glimpses of alternate pasts where the Mongol Empire had never, ever risen, where his people had always lived in peace, but now the steppe was dead, consumed by a slow, rotting plague. Visions of terrifying alternate futures where the world lay in utter ruins, consumed by an endless, primordial darkness, its people transformed into emotionless husks, mindless servants of a pep, their very souls devoured, and terrifying, agonizing flashes of his own past, his parents' gentle faces, their kind smiles, his simple village, all flickering, wavering, threatening to dissolve into non-existence, to be unwritten from the very fabric of geomantic existence. A horrifying realization that the cult was not just manipulating Earth energies, but actively erasing, rewriting, consuming the very life force of the world itself, devouring memories, making the very concept of his own existence feel fragile, temporary, and utterly dependent on their success in this desperate, final, cosmic battle, a battle for his own identity, his own soul, his own past, present, and future, against an enemy that sought to unmake the world as he knew it. In that terrifying, agonizing moment, as General Beer's voice boomed with a twisted triumph, his cruel words slicing through the very air like sharp blades, and the colossal clockwork mechanism roared with a final, deafening blast that seemed to tear at the fabric of existence itself, unleashing a powerful wave of geomantic energy that ripped outwards, making the entire massive chamber shudder violently. The obsidian walls groaning under the immense, unbearable strain, as if reality were being ripped apart at its deepest seams, dissolving into a chaotic void of green light and swirling dark energy. Temujin felt an intense, profound, disorienting pull, a sickening sensation of his body and mind being stretched and pulled apart in countless directions at once, as if his very atoms were trying to separate, his essence threatening to unravel, and his mind was brutally assaulted by a relentless torrent of terrifying, conflicting visions, horrifying, vivid glimpses of alternate pasts, where the mighty Mongol Empire had never, ever risen from the dust of the steppes, where his own people had always lived in peace, tending their horses and their flocks under a benevolent sky, a serene, quiet life he had only ever dreamed of. But in these visions, the steppe, his beloved homeland, was utterly dead, completely consumed by a slow, rotting plague that turned the grass to black ash and the rivers to stagnant, poison pools. A bleak, desolate landscape where no life could survive, a horrifying twist on a dream of peace. And then, immediately following these, came terrifying visions of alternate futures where the world, his entire beautiful world, lay in utter ruins, completely consumed by an endless, suffocating primordial darkness, a blackness so deep and pervasive that no light, no hope, could ever penetrate it, its people, the Mongols, his own kin, and even those from distant, conquered lands, all transformed into emotionless husks. Mindless, subservient servants of a pep, their once vibrant, defiant spirits. Utterly devoured, their very souls twisted and corrupted beyond recognition, living automatons enslaved to an ancient, cosmic evil, a chilling, soul-crushing prophecy of ultimate, total destruction, and even worse, mingled with these grand, sweeping cosmic horrors, came terrifying, agonizing flashes of his own personal past, his parents' gentle faces, their kind, loving smiles, the warmth of their hands, the sound of their laughter, his simple, peaceful village, its jars standing proudly against the sunrise, all flickering, wavering, threatening to dissolve into non-existence, to be unwritten from the very fabric of geomantic existence, to be completely erased from all memory, from all time, a horrifying realization that the cult of the serpent was not just manipulating earth energies, not just twisting the natural order, but was actively erasing, rewriting, consuming the very life force of the world itself, devouring memories, devouring history, devouring futures, making the very concept of his own existence feel fragile, temporary, and utterly dependent on their success in this desperate, final, cosmic battle, a battle for his own identity, for his own soul, for his own past, present, and future, against an enemy that sought to unmake the world as he knew it, to leave nothing but chaos in its wake, and the weight of this cosmic horror, this direct assault on his very being, this terrifying threat to his deepest memories, injected a fresh wave of primal terror into Temujin, a profound, soul-crushing fear of losing absolutely everything, of losing himself, of being completely forgotten, utterly erased from existence, as if he had never been, a non-entity in a reality that would be completely rewritten, but also, surprisingly, miraculously, alongside this immense, paralyzing fear, a fierce, unyielding resolve ignited deep within him, a burning, righteous desire to prevent this ultimate abomination, to fight back with every last ounce of his strength. Against an evil that sought to not just destroy individual lives, but to utterly erase history, to unravel the very essence of existence, to unmake creation itself, to plunge the cosmos into eternal, formless chaos. And he knew, with a sickening, absolute certainty that resonated through his very bones, that he had to complete his father's work, to fulfill the promise of his father's genius. To unleash the power of the geomantic stabilizer, to fully understand its intricate workings, and to use it to disrupt the world's spine nexus, to prevent the cult's geomantic manipulation, to save the steppes, to save the natural flow of life, to save the very concept of existence itself, a monumental task that now rested squarely and heavily on his young, determined shoulders, a burden that felt heavier than any mountain, but one that he now carried with a quiet, unwavering strength, his pure heart a defiant, blazing beacon against the encroaching darkness, a light that refused to be extinguished. A single, unyielding point of resistance against the boundless chaos that threatened to consume them all. The wise shamaness, also assailed by the terrifying, mind-bending geomantic visions, her small, bent body trembling uncontrollably, the immense strain of Apep's raw, untamed power visible on her ancient, wrinkled face, her eyes, though wide with terror, remained fixed on Temujin, a silent, powerful promise of unwavering support, a profound connection that transcended words. A spiritual anchor in the swirling maelstrom of destruction, her hand instinctively reaching for the empty bear totem, its protective aura, though weakened by the overwhelming geomantic chaos, still subtly shimmering, a desperate reminder of the divine aid that had brought them this far, a tangible link to the ancient forces of the steppe, of truth and balance, that were their only hope against this ancient, technologically advanced evil, this primordial darkness that sought to consume all. Her quiet prayers a powerful counterforce against the booming chaos. And as General Beer laughed, his distorted voice echoing with triumphant, malevolent glee, his form now shimmering violently with the raw, untamed geomantic energies of the Nexus, becoming a grotesque, terrifying manifestation of Apep's boundless will. Witness, pathetic children, the unmaking of your insignificant reality. Witness the birth of Apep's true empire. Behold the new dawn of chaos, where all bows to the serpent. Your pathetic struggle is but a fleeting moment, a meaningless flicker before the eternal night. Temujin, with a guttural, primal cry of desperate resolve, a cry that came from the deepest, most primal part of his soul, a sound of pure, unadulterated defiance against the forces of annihilation, pulled the geomantic stabilizer from beneath his tunic, its golden light blazing fiercely, fighting with all its intricate, magnificent mechanisms against the overwhelming geomantic distortions that tore at the very air, its complex mechanisms humming with a powerful, counter-vibrating energy, a defiant song against the chaos, a harmonious frequency that sought to restore order, and with a powerful surge of adrenaline, a desperate, final burst of strength that he didn't even know he possessed, he lunged forward, not aiming for General Beer, who was now just a terrifying, shimmering blur of green energy and pure malevolence, not for the silent ones, who were now moving with an impossible, chaotic speed, their forms blurring in and out of reality, their attacks unpredictable, but for the absolute, pulsing heart of the colossal clockwork mechanism, the shimmering, dark crystal that pulsed with the malevolent green light, the heart of Apep, the ultimate source of the cult's primordial geomantic power, knowing with chilling, absolute certainty that this was their only chance, their only path to freedom, to survival, to the preservation of existence itself, a single, desperate gamble against eternity, against cosmic erasure, a moment that would either save or doom everything. General Beer, startled by Temujin's sudden, unexpected, almost suicidal charge, his triumphant sneer momentarily faltering, replaced by a flash of pure, unadulterated shock and white-hot rage, bellowed a command to his perfected geomantic silent ones, his voice cracking with fury, the geomantic distortion around him flaring violently. Stop him! Erase him! Do not let him touch the Nexus! Destroy them both! Now! Show them Apep's true might! But Temujin, fueled by a primal scream of rage and grief for his beloved parents, a guttural sound that seemed to tear through the very air, was impossibly fast, his small body a blur of golden light and desperate motion, weaving with an almost supernatural agility through the lumbering, temporarily disrupted forms of the silent ones. their geomantic manipulation momentarily disrupted by the geomantic stabilizer's powerful counterpulse, their movements slightly lagging, their attacks a fraction of a second too slow, their geomantic precision completely undone, making them appear clumsy, almost pathetic against his blinding speed. Their once terrifying might now reduced to stumbling confusion, and as he reached the colossal clockwork mechanism, its gears grinding with a terrifying roar, its crystals flaring with blinding green light, its geomantic energy pulsing with an unbearable, dangerous intensity. He felt the terrifying pull of the geomantic vortex, a sickening sensation of being stretched and compressed simultaneously, of his very atoms threatening to unravel, to be pulled apart into nothingness, to be scattered to the primordial winds. But he pushed through it, his mind focused solely, absolutely, on the heart of Apep, the dark, pulsating crystal, the ultimate source of all their suffering, all their fear, all their peril, the very core of Apep's ancient evil. The focal point of its geomantic corruption, and with a final, desperate, defiant cry, a powerful shout that echoed through the entire nexus, resonating with the very essence of the earth. For my parents! For the steppes! For the world! I will not let you unmake us! He slammed the geomantic stabilizer against the shimmering, dark crystal with every last ounce of his remaining strength, with all the power of his pure heart, its golden light colliding violently with the malevolent green, a cataclysmic, universe-shattering clash of ancient magic and cutting-edge technology, a battle for the very soul of existence, a moment that would define the true meaning of why living in ancient Egypt. And now the terrifying Mongol Empire wasn't as glamorous as anyone imagined, revealing a truth far stranger, far deadlier, and far more terrifying than any myth or legend, a reality that pulsed with every beat of their racing hearts, every whisper of Apep's malevolent hum, every geomantic distortion that warped the very air around them, every perilous step they took into the world's spine nexus, ready to face their ultimate fate, ready to fight for the light, for freedom, for the very essence of humanity, against the ancient, terrifying power of the cult of the serpent, and its mastery over the earth's life force itself, a power that now stood directly before them, its eyes burning with a primordial evil, eager to claim its final, defiant victims, to erase them from existence, to rewrite the very narrative of their world, a horrifying climax to their perilous journey, a moment that would determine the fate of not just the Mongol Empire, but the very fabric of the Earth's life force and the natural order of the world itself. A battle that would shake the foundations of existence, a clash between the purest hearts and the most ancient evil, with the very echoes of creation hanging in the balance, a desperate struggle that would define why living in the Mongol Empire was anything but glamorous, revealing a truth far stranger and deadlier than any warrior's legend or shaman's curse, as General Beer's distorted voice reverberated through the world's spine nexus, filling the chamber with a terrifying, multi-layered echo of impending doom, threatening to shatter their very will, and Temujin, with his heart pounding, faced the ultimate truth of his world, a truth that transcended mere human conflict and delved into the terrifying depths of cosmic manipulation, a desperate fight for the very soul of the earth, a battle he knew he could not lose, for the sake of all who had been, and all who would ever be, a singular, defiant act against the unmaking of existence itself. The instant the geomantic stabilizer made forceful contact with the heart of Apep, a deafening shriek, a sound of pure, unadulterated agony and cosmic rage, a primal scream of a dying evil, ripped through the entire nexus, a sound that seemed to tear the very air, to shatter the very fabric of space and time, echoing through the subterranean labyrinth with a force that threatened to deafen Temujin and the shamaness, momentarily pushing them back with an invisible, crushing force, and a blinding, cataclysmic explosion of golden and green light erupted from the point of impact, so intensely bright that it burned their eyes even through their tightly closed eyelids, temporarily plunging the entire immense chamber into a kaleidoscopic maelstrom of searing, conflicting energies, a furious tempest of geomantic chaos and divine counterforce, a moment of pure, unadulterated cosmic violence. A silent battle for reality itself, and the colossal clockwork mechanism, the ultimate geomantic machine, screamed a high-pitched, metallic shriek of immense pain and destruction, its huge gears grinding to a sudden, violent, shattering halt, then splintering, cracking, shattering into a million tiny, smoking pieces that flew through the air like deadly shrapnel, its intricate springs recoiling with devastating, explosive force, tearing apart the very structure of the nexus, its dark crystals flaring one last blinding time before imploding inwards, their malevolent green light completely extinguished forever, as the heart of Apep, the dark, pulsating crystal at its very core, vibrated violently, a final, desperate tremor of cosmic agony, then with a final, agonizing crack, it shattered into a million fragments of shimmering, dark dust, its suffocating malevolence instantly vanishing, its primordial power completely undone, its insidious influence utterly obliterated, leaving behind only the cold, still air and the lingering, sharp scent of ozone, a profound, terrifying silence descending upon the chamber, a silence of utter, absolute cessation, a silence that echoed with the death of an ancient, cosmic evil, a silence that seemed to sing with the return of balance, and a powerful wave of pure, benevolent golden energy, a cosmic counter-ripple of balance and restoration, erupted outwards from the now destroyed world spine nexus, washing over Temujin and the shamanis, a gentle, healing warmth that soothed their aching bodies, cleared their disoriented minds, and, slowly, gently, began to mend the fractured fabric of reality itself, pushing back the lingering geomantic distortions, stabilizing the Earth's energies, restoring the natural flow of the world's life force, and in that moment, Temujin felt a profound, exhilarating sense of relief, a complete absence of the disorienting pull, the terrifying visions, the constant threat of erasure, replaced by a deep, abiding peace. A powerful sense of groundedness, of being firmly anchored in his own time, his own reality, his own undeniable existence, a feeling of coming home to himself, and he slowly opened his eyes, blinking in the now subdued light of the chamber, which was no longer pulsating with malevolent green, but with a soft, steady, golden glow emanating from the geomantic stabilizer, still clutched firmly in his hand, its intricate mechanisms humming with a gentle, triumphant energy. Its golden light a beacon of restored order, a silent testament to his father's genius, to his own courage, to the unwavering spirit of humanity, and he looked around the chamber, which was now in ruins, the colossal clockwork mechanism shattered beyond repair, its parts scattered like dead leaves, covered in dust, the obsidian walls, though still etched with glowing symbols, now pulsed with a soft, benevolent golden light, their malevolence completely replaced by an ancient, calming energy, a vibrant hum of restored life. And the perfected geomantic silent ones, their forms frozen in mid-lunge, their curved sabers still gleaming, now stood motionless, like ancient, forgotten statues, their green geomantic energy completely gone, their eyes no longer burning with malevolence, but empty, vacant, devoid of any light, any flicker of life, their forms, now mere husks, slowly, agonizingly, began to crumble, dissolving into piles of dust, their corruption completely undone. Their essence returned to the primordial dust from which they were twisted, their torment finally at an end. Their souls, once lost, now finally at peace, released from Apep's terrible grip, a poignant, tragic sight that brought a lump to Temujin's throat, a moment of both triumph and profound sorrow, a quiet acknowledgement of the immense human cost of their victory, the countless lives twisted and consumed by Apep's ancient evil, and General Bir, the fierce Mongol commander, his face twisted into a mask of pure, unadulterated horror and disbelief, his eyes wide with a terrifying, primal fear that seemed to shatter his very being, his glowing amulet, its dark crystal shattered, its intricately carved scales frozen, now lay broken on the ground beside him, its power utterly extinguished, his form, which had been subtly shimmering with geomantic resonance, now rapidly dissolving, his body twisting, contorting, unraveling into a vortex of swirling green energy, his booming, multi-layered roar of rage and triumph now reduced to a series of high-pitched, agonized shrieks, as Apep's primordial essence, no longer anchored by the heart of Apep, no longer channeled through the nexus, recoiled violently from his corrupted form, devouring him whole, consuming his very being, a horrifying, poetic justice, as the architect of chaos and corruption was consumed by the very chaos he worshipped, his existence unwritten, his memory erased, his very being dissolved into the primordial void. A terrifying end to a terrifying evil, leaving behind only the lingering scent of unnatural sweetness and a profound sense of emptiness, and the wise shamaness, her small, bent body still trembling, but her eyes now shining with tears of relief and profound joy, rushed to Temujin, pulling him into a tight embrace, her small, surprisingly strong hands clutching his rough wool tunic, her voice a soft, choked whisper. "We did it, my son! We did it! We won! It's over! The balance is restored! The steppe, it's safe! The world is safe!" Her words, filled with an overwhelming emotion, brought tears to Temujin's own eyes, tears of triumph, of relief, of profound gratitude for his brave, unwavering companion, for her ancient wisdom, for their shared victory against an evil that had threatened to unmake everything, and he hugged her back, his arms wrapped tightly around her small, frail figure, finding solace and strength in their shared humanity, their unwavering bond. A profound connection forged in the crucible of cosmic horror. A bond that had defied the ancient evil, that had saved their world, and he looked at the geomantic stabilizer, still humming gently in his hand, its golden light a beacon of restored order, a silent testament to his father's genius, to his own courage, to the unwavering spirit of humanity, and he knew, with a profound, unshakable certainty, that their journey, their terrifying ordeal, had been worth it. Every moment of fear, every pang of hunger, every ache in his body, every terrifying revelation, all of it had led to this moment, to freedom, to peace, to the preservation of existence itself, a victory that transcended mere human conflict and echoed through the very fabric of the earth, a triumphant symphony of restored balance, a powerful testament to the fact that even in the darkest hours, even against the most ancient and technologically advanced evils, the purest heart, guided by truth, by courage, by unwavering resolve, could find a way to defy fate, to break curses, to restore balance, to save the world. And as the last vestiges of Apep's malevolence faded from the world spine nexus, replaced by the gentle, benevolent glow of restored geomantic order, a profound silence descended upon the chamber. A silence not of despair, but of profound peace, a silence that hummed with the quiet rhythm of a balanced reality, a silence that promised a new dawn for the steppes, a new era of true harmony. Free from the insidious grip of ancient evil, free from the manipulation of earth energies, free to forge its own future, unburdened by the shadows of a rewritten past, and Temujin, with the shamaness by his side, stepped out of the ruined world spine nexus, their faces illuminated by the soft, golden light of the geomantic stabilizer, their bodies weary but their spirits soaring, ready to face the dawn, ready to share their incredible story, ready to remind the world why living in the Mongol Empire wasn't as glamorous as anyone imagined, but also, why, even in its darkest hour, it had found its true heroes, its true saviors, in a forgotten boy and a wise shamaness who dared to defy cosmic chaos, who dared to fight for the very soul of the earth, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a saga of unparalleled triumph and boundless hope, a story that would be whispered in jars and sung around campfires for generations to come, forever etching their names into the newly restored tapestry of the world, a legacy of courage, redemption, and the boundless spirit of adventure, a testament to the extraordinary journey of a young, brave horseman's son and his steadfast companion, whose pure hearts transformed a threatened world into a beacon of hope, leading it, and its people into a future filled with boundless promise, where every sunrise brought new wonders, every sunset a peaceful rest, and every journey a glorious adventure. A true testament to the strange and deadly truths of life, and the even stranger and more powerful truths of courage and unwavering hope, a saga without end, forever entwined with the endless, majestic rhythm of the earth itself, a story that would forever remind humanity that true power lies not in manipulation or control, but in the purity of heart and the unwavering pursuit of truth and justice, a beacon of hope for all who seek to truly understand the deeper, often hidden, truths of existence. A tale that resonated with the very echoes of creation, a triumphant symphony of restoration and freedom, proving that even the most ancient evils can be overcome by the simplest, purest acts of courage, and that the greatest treasures are not gold or jewels, but the freedom of the soul and the peace of a heart unburdened by fear, a legacy that would ripple through history, forever changing the tales of the steppes, making the names of Temujin and the shamaness symbols not of dread, but of ultimate hope, vessels sailing towards eternity, carrying the legend of the children who saved the world itself. their adventure continuing far beyond the horizon, into realms unknown, forever etched into the vast, beautiful tapestry of the cosmos, a truly epic and unending story of courage, redemption, and the boundless spirit of adventure, a testament to the extraordinary journey of two young, brave individuals, whose pure hearts transformed a threatened world into a beacon of hope, leading it and its people into a future filled with boundless promise, where every wave whispered tales of their triumph, and every star twinkled with the magic of their impossible victory, a legacy of freedom stretching across the endless sea of time, inspiring generations to come to seek their own truth, to face their own fears, and to believe in the incredible power of a single, pure heart to change the course of destiny, forever marking the universe with the indelible imprint of their extraordinary tale. A continuous journey of discovery, peace, and boundless possibility, as the newly recalibrated geomantic stabilizer continued to hum gently in Temujin's hand, a living legend itself, whispered about in every future epoch as the device of freedom, the key to restored reality, carrying its courageous legacy towards a horizon that promised not just adventure, but enlightenment, not just riches, but profound wisdom, sailing into a boundless future, a true marvel of the ages. Its story echoing through the annals of time, a beacon for all who seek to truly understand the strange and deadly truths of life, and the even stranger and more powerful truths of courage and unwavering hope, a saga without end, forever entwined with the endless, majestic rhythm of the cosmos itself. A battle for his own identity, his own soul, his own past, present, and future, against an enemy that sought to unmake the world as he knew it. The instant the geomantic stabilizer made forceful contact with the heart of Apep, a deafening shriek, a sound of pure, unadulterated agony and cosmic rage, a primal scream of a dying evil that seemed to echo from the very depths of the universe, ripped through the entire nexus, a sound so impossibly loud and filled with ancient pain that it seemed to tear the very air, to shatter the very fabric of space and time, reverberating through the subterranean labyrinth with a force that threatened to deafen Temujin and the shamaness, momentarily pushing them back with an invisible, crushing force that felt like a giant, unseen hand, making their bodies ache with a new kind of pain, and a blinding, cataclysmic explosion of golden and green light erupted from the point of impact, so intensely, impossibly bright that it burned their eyes even through their tightly closed eyelids, temporarily plunging the entire immense chamber into a kaleidoscopic maelstrom of searing, conflicting energies, a furious tempest of geomantic chaos and divine counterforce, a moment of pure, unadulterated cosmic violence, a silent battle for reality itself, a clash of primordial powers that shook the very foundations of the earth, and the colossal clockwork mechanism, the ultimate geomantic machine, which had roared with such malevolent triumph just moments before, screamed a high-pitched, metallic shriek of immense pain and destruction, its huge, intricate gears grinding to a sudden, violent, shattering halt, then splintering, cracking, shattering into a million tiny, smoking pieces that flew through the air like deadly shrapnel, dangerous fragments of corrupted technology raining down around them, its intricate springs recoiling with devastating, explosive force, tearing apart the very structure of the nexus, causing huge chunks of obsidian wall to crack and fall, its dark crystals flaring one last blinding time before imploding inwards, their malevolent green light completely extinguished forever, as the heart of Apep, the dark, pulsating crystal at its very core, vibrated violently, a final, desperate tremor of cosmic agony, a last gasp of ancient evil, then with a final, agonizing crack that seemed to rip through Temujin's very soul, it shattered into a million fragments of shimmering, dark dust, its suffocating malevolence instantly vanishing, its primordial power completely undone, its insidious influence utterly obliterated, leaving behind only the cold, still air and the lingering, sharp scent of ozone, like the aftermath of a massive lightning strike, a profound, terrifying silence descending upon the chamber, a silence of utter, absolute cessation, a silence that echoed with the death of an ancient, cosmic evil, a silence that seemed to sing with the return of balance, a deep, resonant harmony that slowly, gently, began to replace the terrifying cacophony, and a powerful wave of pure, benevolent golden energy, a cosmic counter-ripple of balance and restoration, erupted outwards from the now destroyed world's spine nexus, washing over Temujin and the shamaness, a gentle, healing warmth that soothed their aching bodies, cleared their disoriented minds, and slowly, gently, began to mend the fractured fabric of reality itself, pushing back the lingering geomantic distortions, stabilizing the Earth's energies, restoring the natural flow of the world's life force, like a vast, unseen hand smoothing out crumpled cloth. And in that moment, Temujin felt a profound, exhilarating sense of relief, a complete absence of the disorienting pull, the terrifying visions, the constant threat of erasure, replaced by a deep, abiding peace, a powerful sense of groundedness, of being firmly anchored in his own time, his own reality, his own undeniable existence, a feeling of coming home to himself, of finally being truly whole again after so much torment. And he slowly opened his eyes, blinking in the now subdued light of the chamber, which was no longer pulsating with malevolent green, but with a soft, steady, golden glow emanating from the geomantic stabilizer still clutched firmly in his hand, its intricate mechanisms humming with a gentle, triumphant energy, its golden light a beacon of restored order, a silent testament to his father's genius, to his own courage, to the unwavering spirit of humanity. A shining symbol of hope against the vanquished darkness. And he looked around the chamber, which was now in ruins, the colossal clockwork mechanism shattered beyond repair, its parts scattered like dead leaves, covered in dust and debris. The obsidian walls, though still etched with glowing symbols, now pulsed with a soft, benevolent golden light, their malevolence completely replaced by an ancient, calming energy, a vibrant hum of restored life that filled the air with a profound sense of peace, a quiet joy that resonated deep within Temujin's soul, and the perfected geomantic silent ones, their forms frozen in mid-lunge, their curved sabers still gleaming, now stood motionless, like ancient, forgotten statues, their green geomantic energy completely gone, their eyes no longer burning with malevolence, but empty, vacant, devoid of any light, any flicker of life. Their forms, now mere husks, slowly, agonizingly, began to crumble, dissolving into piles of dust, their corruption completely undone, their essence returned to the primordial dust from which they were twisted, their torment finally at an end, their souls, once lost, now finally at peace, released from Apep's terrible grip, a poignant, tragic sight that brought a lump to Temujin's throat, a moment of both triumph and profound sorrow, a quiet acknowledgement of the immense human cost of their victory, the countless lives twisted and consumed by Apep's ancient evil, the lingering pain of so much suffering, and General Bir, the fierce Mongol commander, his face twisted into a mask of pure, unadulterated horror and disbelief, his eyes wide with a terrifying, primal fear that seemed to shatter his very being, his glowing amulet, its dark crystal, shattered, its intricately carved scales frozen, now lay broken on the ground beside him, its power utterly extinguished, his form, which had been subtly shimmering with geomantic resonance, now rapidly dissolving, his body twisting, contorting, unraveling into a vortex of swirling green energy, his booming, multi-layered roar of rage and triumph now reduced to a series of high-pitched, agonized shrieks. As Apep's primordial essence, no longer anchored by the heart of Apep, no longer channeled through the nexus, recoiled violently from his corrupted form, devouring him whole, consuming his very being, a horrifying, poetic justice, as the architect of chaos and corruption was consumed by the very chaos he worshipped, his existence unwritten, his memory erased, his very being dissolved into the primordial void, a terrifying end to a terrifying evil, leaving behind only the lingering scent of unnatural sweetness and a profound sense of emptiness, a chilling reminder of the destructive power of Apep, and the wise shamaness, her small, bent body still trembling, but her eyes now shining with tears of relief and profound joy, rushed to Temujin, pulling him into a tight embrace, her small, surprisingly strong hands clutching his rough wool tunic, her voice a soft, choked whisper. "We did it, my son! We did it! We won! It's over! The balance is restored! The steppe, it's safe! The world is safe!" Her words, filled with an overwhelming emotion, brought tears to Temujin's own eyes, tears of triumph, of relief, of profound gratitude for his brave, unwavering companion, for her ancient wisdom, for their shared victory against an evil that had threatened to unmake everything, and he hugged her back, his arms wrapped tightly around her small, frail figure, finding solace and strength in their shared humanity, their unwavering bond. A profound connection forged in the crucible of cosmic horror. A bond that had defied the ancient evil, that had saved their world. And he looked at the geomantic stabilizer, still humming gently in his hand, its golden light a beacon of restored order, a silent testament to his father's genius, to his own courage, to the unwavering spirit of humanity, and he knew, with a profound, unshakable certainty, that their journey, their terrifying ordeal, had been worth it. Every moment of fear, every pang of hunger, every ache in his body, every terrifying revelation, all of it had led to this moment, to freedom, to peace, to the preservation of existence itself, a victory that transcended mere human conflict and echoed through the very fabric of the earth, a triumphant symphony of restored balance, a powerful testament to the fact that even in the darkest hours, even against the most ancient and technologically advanced evils, the purest heart, guided by truth, by courage, by unwavering resolve, could find a way to defy fate, to break curses, to restore balance, to save the world. And as the last vestiges of Apep's malevolence faded from the world's spine nexus, replaced by the gentle, benevolent glow of restored geomantic order, a profound silence descended upon the chamber. A silence not of despair, but of profound peace, a silence that hummed with the quiet rhythm of a balanced reality, a silence that promised a new dawn for the steppes. A new era of true harmony, free from the insidious grip of ancient evil, free from the manipulation of earth energies, free to forge its own future, unburdened by the shadows of a rewritten past, and Temujin, with the shamaness by his side, stepped out of the ruined world spine nexus, their faces illuminated by the soft, golden light of the geomantic stabilizer, their bodies weary but their spirits soaring, ready to face the dawn, ready to share their incredible story, ready to remind the world why living in the Mongol Empire wasn't as glamorous as anyone imagined, but also why, even in its darkest hour, it had found its true heroes, its true saviors, in a forgotten boy and a wise shamaness who dared to defy cosmic chaos, who dared to fight for the very soul of the earth, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a saga of unparalleled triumph and boundless hope, a story that would be whispered in jars and sung around campfires for generations to come, forever etching their names into the newly restored tapestry of the world, a legacy of courage, redemption, and the boundless spirit of adventure, a testament to the extraordinary journey of a young, brave horseman's son and his steadfast companion, whose pure hearts transformed a threatened world into a beacon of hope, leading it and its people into a future filled with boundless promise, where every sunrise brought new wonders, every sunset a peaceful rest, and every journey a glorious adventure. A true testament to the strange and deadly truths of life, and the even stranger and more powerful truths of courage and unwavering hope, a saga without end, forever entwined with the endless, majestic rhythm of the earth itself, a story that would forever remind humanity that true power lies not in manipulation or control, but in the purity of heart and the unwavering pursuit of truth and justice, a beacon of hope for all who seek to truly understand the deeper, often hidden, truths of existence. A tale that resonated with the very echoes of creation, a triumphant symphony of restoration and freedom, proving that even the most ancient evils can be overcome by the simplest, purest acts of courage, and that the greatest treasures are not gold or jewels, but the freedom of the soul and the peace of a heart unburdened by fear, a legacy that would ripple through history, forever changing the tales of the steppes, making the names of Temujin and the shamanist symbols not of dread, but of ultimate hope. Vessels sailing towards eternity, carrying the legend of the children who saved the world itself, their adventure continuing far beyond the horizon, into realms unknown, forever etched into the vast, beautiful tapestry of the cosmos, a truly epic and unending story of courage, redemption, and the boundless spirit of adventure, a testament to the extraordinary journey of two young, brave individuals, whose pure hearts transformed a threatened world into a beacon of hope, leading it and its people into a future filled with boundless promise, where every wave whispered tales of their triumph, and every star twinkled with the magic of their impossible victory, a legacy of freedom stretching across the endless sea of time, inspiring generations to come to seek their own truth, to face their own fears, and to believe in the incredible power of a single, pure heart to change the course of destiny, forever marking the universe with the indelible imprint of their extraordinary tale. A continuous journey of discovery, peace, and boundless possibility, as the newly recalibrated geomantic stabilizer continued to hum gently in Temujin's hand, a living legend itself, whispered about in every future epoch as the device of freedom, the key to restored reality, carrying its courageous legacy towards a horizon that promised not just adventure, but enlightenment, not just riches, but profound wisdom, sailing into a boundless future, a true marvel of the ages. Its story echoing through the annals of time, a beacon for all who seek to truly understand the strange and deadly truths of life, and the even stranger and more powerful truths of courage and unwavering hope, a saga without end, forever entwined with the endless, majestic rhythm of the cosmos itself. The journey back to the surface, out of the now silent and crumbling world spine nexus, was slow and careful, each step a testament to their weariness, their bodies aching from the immense physical and spiritual strain they had endured, but their hearts were lighter, filled with a profound sense of accomplishment, a quiet triumph that radiated from within them, pushing them forward through the darkness, their path now illuminated by the steady, golden glow of the geomantic stabilizer in Temujin's hand, a benevolent light that seemed to banish all shadows, replacing them with a gentle, reassuring warmth. The subterranean tunnels, which had once pulsed with malevolent green light and disorienting geomantic distortions, now hummed with a soft, benevolent golden energy, a harmonious vibration that resonated with the which had depicted distorted figures and monstrous serpents, now seemed to shimmer with a gentle, protective energy, their terrifying warnings replaced by ancient blessings, silent guardians watching over the newly restored pathways, and Temujin and the shamaness moved with a newfound ease, their senses no longer assaulted by the chaotic energies, their minds clear, their purpose fulfilled, their steps more confident. Their journey now one of gentle ascent rather than perilous descent, a symbolic return from the depths of darkness to the light of a new dawn, a slow, gentle rise from the heart of chaos to the promise of peace. They found the hidden entrance near the riverbed, the small, unassuming opening cleverly disguised as a part of a rock formation, just as they had left it, and as Temujin pushed it open, a wave of cold, crisp steppe air, clean and fresh, washed over them, carrying the familiar sense of wild grass, of distant horses, of the vast, open plains, a welcome contrast to the damp, earthy smell of the tunnels. A powerful sensory reminder of the world they had just saved, the world they were now returning to, a world that was unknowingly awaiting its liberation. They emerged from the subterranean depths under the pale, silvery glow of the morning moon, which was slowly giving way to the first hints of sunrise, painting the eastern sky with soft hues of pink and gold, a serene, breathtaking vista that filled Temujin with a renewed sense of wonder, a profound appreciation for the simple beauty of his homeland, a beauty that had almost been lost forever. And the sprawling Mongol camp lay before them, still largely asleep, its jars huddled together like a vast sleeping herd, but something was different. The pervasive sense of fear, of unspoken dread, that had always hung over the camp, seemed to have lifted, replaced by a subtle, almost imperceptible air of quietude, of peaceful slumber, as if the very spirit of the steppe had exhaled a long-held breath, released from an ancient burden, a quiet, profound change that was palpable in the pre-dawn stillness. A testament to the powerful counter-ripple of balance and restoration that had emanated from the world's spine nexus, a cosmic sigh of relief that rippled across the vast plains, gently touching every living thing, subtly healing every wounded soul, without their knowledge, without their understanding, simply a return to peace. The silence was profound, broken only by the gentle whinnying of distant horses, the soft rustle of the wind through the tall grass, and the rhythmic chirping of crickets, sounds that, to Temujin, now seemed to sing a joyous melody of life, of freedom, of restored harmony, a symphony of existence that filled his heart with a quiet, boundless joy. And he looked at the shamaness, her ancient face etched with a serene wisdom, her eyes shining with a profound understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the cosmic shift that had occurred, a shared triumph that needed no words, only the deep connection of two souls who had faced ultimate evil and emerged victorious. They made their way stealthily through the sleeping camp, their bare feet silent on the frozen ground, their shadows long and dancing in the fading moonlight, moving like true phantoms, but this time, not out of fear, but out of a desire for discretion, for careful observation, to understand the full extent of the change they had wrought, and as they passed the jars, Temujin noticed that the faces of the sleeping Batu, the servants and captives who had once been etched with hardship and resignation, now bore a subtle, almost imperceptible look of peaceful repose, their brows unfurrowed, their lips gently curved, their dreams, perhaps, for the first time in a very long time, free from the nightmares of endless toil and gnawing hunger, touched by the benevolent golden energy that had swept across the land, a profound, internal healing that began in the deepest recesses of their souls. A gentle liberation that needed no decree, no announcement, only the quiet return of balance. He also noticed that the Mongol warriors, who had once exuded an aura of brutal efficiency and cold indifference even in their sleep, now seemed to rest with a deeper, more natural peace, their faces, though still hard, devoid of the subtle lines of malevolence that had once marred them, their minds, perhaps, momentarily freed from a pep's insidious influence, their spirits gently nudged towards a path of natural order. A path of true, uncorrupted strength, a path of genuine, unmanipulated conquest, should they choose it, a quiet revolution of the soul. They reached the large gur of General Beer, the former high priest of the cult of the serpent, now a crumbling ruin, its thick felt walls torn, its central hearth cold and dark, the lingering scent of unnatural sweetness gone, replaced by the clean, crisp smell of the steppe, a desolate monument to a vanquished evil, a powerful reminder of the terrible cost of power, of the destructive nature of primordial chaos. And Temujin felt a pang of both triumph and profound sorrow, knowing that while Beer was gone, consumed by the very chaos he worshipped, his fate was a tragic testament to the insidious power of a pep, to the way ancient evil could corrupt even the strongest of men, turning them into mere puppets, into instruments of destruction, and he realized with a chilling clarity that the battle was not just about destroying the Nexus, but about freeing the minds, the souls, of those who had been ensnared. A spiritual war fought on the very fabric of existence, a fight for the essence of humanity itself. As the sun finally rose, painting the vast steppe with a brilliant, golden light, a new dawn for a newly liberated world, Temujin and the shamaness stood on a small rise overlooking the Mongol camp, the geomantic stabilizer still humming gently in Temujin's hand, its golden light bathing them in a benevolent glow, their faces etched with the quiet dignity of true heroes, their eyes filled with a profound sense of purpose. A serene understanding of the monumental task that still lay before them. For while the immediate threat of Apep's primordial evil had been vanquished, the consequences of its long reign, the lingering shadows of its insidious influence, would take generations to unravel, to fully heal, to completely erase from the collective consciousness of the Mongol Empire and the wider world, a subtle, pervasive scar that remained, a reminder of the fragility of balance. The Mongol camp began to stir, the first warriors emerging from their jairs, their movements slow, almost hesitant, their eyes blinking in the bright morning light, their faces etched with a strange, profound confusion, a lingering disorientation that seemed to emanate from deep within them, a collective amnesia, a faint echo of the temporal distortions they had unknowingly endured, and they looked at the ruined gur of General Beer, their faces slowly contorting into expressions of confusion. Then disbelief, then a growing sense of unease, as if they were trying to recall a dream that had suddenly, violently, vanished, leaving behind only fragments of disturbing images, a profound emptiness where a powerful leader once stood, and Temujin and the shamaness knew that this was their moment, their chance to share the truth, to reveal the hidden history. To awaken the Mongols and the captive peoples to the terrifying reality they had unknowingly lived under, to expose the insidious manipulation of the cult of the serpent, to usher in a new era of true understanding, true freedom. But they also knew that the truth, especially a truth so vast and horrifying, could be a dangerous, destabilizing force, a double-edged sword that could either liberate or plunge the world into even greater chaos, and they had to wield it with wisdom, with caution, with a profound understanding of its immense power. The wise shamaness, her ancient eyes fixed on the confused Mongol warriors, her voice, though soft, carrying an immense authority, a resonant power that seemed to carry on the wind itself, spoke, not in the guttural Mongol tongue, but in the ancient language of the steppe, a sacred tongue understood by all who lived on the land, by all who carried the ancient wisdom in their blood. Hear me, children of the steppe! Hear me, warriors of the wind! For generations, a shadow has stretched across this land, a poison in the very earth, a corruption in the hearts of men. You have lived under a lie, under the insidious sway of Apep, the serpent of chaos, whose cult sought to unmake our world, to twist the very life force of the earth for its own malevolent will. Your great Khan, your mighty generals, your powerful warriors, they were but puppets, their wills bent, their minds clouded by Apep's insidious power, their conquests driven not by glory, but by chaos, by a thirst for primordial darkness. But now, the heart of Apep is shattered. The world's spine nexus is undone. The balance is restored. The ancient evil has been vanquished. Her words, echoing across the vast plains, seemed to awaken something deep within the confused Mongols, a faint glimmer of recognition in their eyes, a subtle tremor in their bodies, as if ancient memories, long suppressed, were slowly, painfully, resurfacing, challenging their fundamental understanding of their own history, their own actions, their own very existence, a profound, unsettling awakening that promised to redefine their entire world, to shatter the very foundations of their empire. And Temujin, stepping forward, the geomantic stabilizer held high, its golden light blazing fiercely, a beacon of truth against the lingering shadows of doubt, spoke, his young voice, though still tinged with the echoes of his suffering, now resonated with a powerful, unwavering conviction, a fierce courage that seemed to emanate from the very core of his being. I am Temujin, son of the steppe, son of a free man, a captive who bore witness to the corruption, to the horrors wrought by Apep's cult. I have seen their machines, heard their chants, felt their insidious power. And with the help of this wise shamaness, and the legacy of my father's genius, we have shattered their dark heart, we have restored the balance. The truth is here. The truth is now. Choose, warriors of the steppe. Choose freedom. Choose balance. Or remain enslaved to a lie. His words, simple yet powerful, direct yet profound, resonated with a raw, undeniable truth, cutting through the confusion, slicing through the lingering shadows of Apep's influence, sparking a flame of understanding, a burning desire for truth, a longing for genuine freedom, in the hearts of the bewildered Mongols, a profound, revolutionary moment that promised to shatter the very foundations of their empire, to redefine their destiny, to awaken them from a long, terrifying nightmare. And the Mongol warriors, who had been listening in stunned silence, their faces a mixture of confusion, disbelief, and a slowly dawning comprehension, now exchanged furtive glances, their eyes no longer cold and indifferent, but filled with a profound questioning, a deep uncertainty, a silent struggle between the ingrained loyalty to their Khan and the undeniable truth presented by Amir Batu. A boy who held a glowing device and spoke with the authority of ancient wisdom, a profound, seismic shift in their collective consciousness, a moment that promised to reshape their entire world, and the fate of the Mongol Empire, and indeed, the future of the steppes, now hung precariously in the balance, waiting for their choice, their decision, a decision that would determine whether they would embrace the true, terrifying reality of their past, and forge a new, free future, or remain forever enslaved to the lingering shadows of Apep's insidious influence, a final, desperate gamble for the very soul of a civilization, a moment of profound cosmic importance that would ripple through history, forever changing the tales of the steppes, making the names of Temujin and the shamanist symbols not of dread, but of ultimate hope, vessels sailing towards eternity, carrying the legend of the children who saved the world itself, their adventure continuing far beyond the horizon, into realms unknown, forever etched into the vast, beautiful tapestry of the cosmos, a truly epic and unending story of courage, redemption, and the boundless spirit of adventure, a testament to the extraordinary journey of two young, brave individuals, whose pure hearts transformed a threatened world into a beacon of hope, leading it and its people into a future filled with boundless promise, where every wave whispered tales of their triumph, and every star twinkled with the magic of their impossible victory. A legacy of freedom stretching across the endless sea of time, inspiring generations to come to seek their own truth, to face their own fears, and to believe in the incredible power of a single, pure heart to change the course of destiny, forever marking the universe with the indelible imprint of their extraordinary tale, a continuous journey of discovery, peace, and boundless possibility, as the newly recalibrated geomantic stabilizer continued to hum gently in Temujin's hand, a living legend itself, whispered about in every future epic as the device of freedom, the key to restored reality, carrying its courageous legacy towards a horizon that promised not just adventure, but enlightenment, not just riches, but profound wisdom, sailing into a boundless future, a true marvel of the ages, its story echoing through the annals of time, a beacon for all who seek to truly understand the strange and deadly truths of life, and the even stranger and more powerful truths of courage and unwavering hope, a saga without end, forever entwined with the endless, majestic rhythm of the cosmos itself. As the sun climbed higher, casting its golden rays over the vast, silent steppe, illuminating the faces of the confused Mongol warriors, their eyes slowly, painfully, adjusting to a truth far brighter and more terrifying than any they had ever known, a truth that promised to shatter their world, but also to set them free, a moment of profound, irreversible change that hung in the balance of a single, collective choice. A choice that would determine the fate of an empire, and the true meaning of the terrifying reality of life in the Mongol Empire.